Okay, let's start. Thank you very much for being with me. My name is Alex Goldfayn. My company is called the Evangelist Marketing Institute. I want to thank you for being here. We will go until the top of the hour, and I hit my marks, so you will be off the phone by the top of the hour, off the webinar. I am going to show you my screen now. If you can see my screen, please go ahead and type into your questions box that you can see my screen. I would appreciate that, just one of you doing that for me. Great, thank you, Cheryl. For those of you just arriving, we are just beginning, and all of you here on the webinar are with an association. I held this similar webinar just about 2 hours ago for corporations, and I decided to create something specifically for you because you have similar but ultimately somewhat different marketing needs than for-profit companies that sell products or services. So everybody here, and there's over 200 of you, are with an association. You're an executive typically, and you help run an association. So that's what this program is about and what it is for. Again, we go to the top of the hour. We begin with some quick housekeeping. This is the agenda for the day. Some quick housekeeping. By the way, I am not in presentation mode so that I can see your questions and what's happening with you in this GoToWebinar control panel. If I put it in presentation mode, I lose that. I have 3 monitors here in front of me, but I lose that control panel. So it stays this way. So those little icons on the bottom of my screen, those are my programs. To the left is little thumbnails of the slides. That has to stay that way. It's as small as I can get it. On everything else, and the slide is about as big as I can get it. So it's got to go this way. If you have a question, I'm highly interactive. If you have questions, please type them into your question box, and as I see them, I will stop what I'm doing and I will answer them. Very rarely, like 1 or 2% of questions I don't get to, or I pass over, or I miss them. So please feel free to email them to me, but I'm really good at getting at everything, okay? There's a question from Tracy Parsons. Will slides be available after today's webinar? Yes, ma'am, they will be. Not only will slides be available, but a recording of the entire session will be available, so you can listen to my lovely voice drone on as many times as you want to the slides, actually, in real time. So please ask your questions in real time. I'll try to stop and ask for them also, but go ahead and throw them up there into your little question box, and I will get them up, and I will get to them. I will not probably unmute your line to let people speak. I feel like that slows down the flow. So you've got a hand-raising button, but I pretty much won't react to it. So go ahead and type your questions, please, in the box. All right? Will you send us the link to the recording? Yes, I will. Ellie, I will absolutely do that. Now, feedback and survey. At the end of this presentation, when I end the webinar, or when you leave it, a new tab will pop up, and there will be 4 questions there for you. And in the 4 questions, one of them will be, would you like a copy of my new book, Evangelist Marketing? I would be happy to send a hard copy to the first 5 people responding to that survey. I'll do that personally. Everybody else, if you want a copy, I will send you a digital copy. I'd be happy to do that, no cost on me. So if you want a copy of the book, which covers much of what we're going to do here, I would be happy to send it to you. Just let me know in that survey, okay? But try not to miss it because it pops up on a separate tab. If you do miss it, if I don't hear from you, by the end of the day, I'll send you the questions by email so you can reply that way. I want to make sure everybody gets one who wants one, okay? A little bit about me. 60 seconds or less on Alex because I get bored if it's any longer than that. Those are some of the companies that I work with. I help companies and associations improve their marketing. I grow companies and grow associations with a focus on marketing, messaging, and positioning. This is my website. I'm not going to go too much into it, but what I will do actually is bring on this screen, which is a live version of the site. And I just want to show you, if you click here on speaking, there are detailed and new pages on my presentations. I know you guys have events. If you want a really good speaker on stuff like this, on growing the companies of your members, on improving their marketing. So there's a video in general about my talks. There is a sample speech video clip here that you can watch me do the talk, is sort of, in action. And if you want a list of topics, here are 5 topics along with a short video on each. So Creating Evangelists, 10 Ways to Develop Passionate Brand Evangelists, Thinking Big, How to Develop a Powerful Marketing Mindset, Language is Everything, How to Create Extraordinarily Powerful Marketing Messaging, and so forth. Okay, so that is on my website for your enjoyment. Now, back to the agenda. We will do the following today. This is the bottom 4 bullet points. We'll take a look at 2012 and uncover the marketing lessons that are there for us to learn from and lessons for this year. I will share with you 10 powerful marketing techniques for success in the new year, things you can implement now. And we will talk about also the power of 15 minutes. Because in 15 minutes, you can change yourself, you can change your association, you could pretty much begin the process of going about changing the world in 15 minutes per day, all right? So 15 minutes is a hugely critical number. For those of you just joining us, we are just getting started. I'm going through some housekeeping. We have not started the content portion of this yet. At the end, again, I will remind you how to get a copy of my book, either in hard copy or digital. I'm sending them out on me, no cost. We'll do that at the end. If you leave in the middle, this last time I'll say this, if you leave in the middle of the webinar, if you have to go, you will get a new tab that will open up that will have 4 survey questions for you, 4 feedback questions. One is about, what did you think of the webinar? I'd love some feedback from you. Another one is about, would you like my book? And a third one is about, do you need a good speaker? So that's it. That's the housekeeping. I'm looking at the questions. Can I turn off the dinging? I can't. I have no control over the dinging, Susan. The dinging will probably slow down as we get past sort of the quarter hour. That's my experience, okay? We begin. Again, questions at any moment. I will check the question box as we move. Feel free to ask me anything that's on your mind, and I will stop and answer the question. Depending on time, I may do so quickly. I may do so in depth, and we roll. This is being recorded. You will get the entire presentation recorded, which includes my voice and the slides themselves. Okay, let's go back in time. Not very far, but just into last year. And I've got 4 lessons I want to share with you. 4 learning points from news that occurred last year that will affect our marketing efforts and behavior this year. The first one is as follows. Facebook's IPO. Launched at $45 per share, dropped into the 17s nearly immediately, and currently at about 27. General Motors, at about the same time of the IPO, said that it's pulling its Facebook advertising, that Facebook ads do not work. I know a lot of you are interested in social media. So here we go. Here's a study done. This, by the way, this is the most text you will see in one of my slides. I don't like text on slides, but I think this is valuable for you to see on the screen. So AP, the Associated Press, with CNBC did a poll in May, and it found that half of Americans think Facebook is a passing fad. 34% spend less time on Facebook than 1 year ago. 80%, this is big, 80% have never bought a product or service as a result of an advertisement or a comment on Facebook. 12% would feel safe making a purchase through Facebook. So take a look at those statistics and tell me if you should be investing more or less in social media to promote your association. I'm going to argue with anybody who wants to listen that you should be investing less than you are or than you think you should into social media marketing, because it does not sell. It does not grow membership. It does not lead to additional signups. It does not raise money. It does not raise you money. That's the thing. When I was talking to the companies doing this earlier today, I had a corporate session of this. I said, you will not sell product or service through Facebook. You will not do it. People won't do it. You see here, 80% never have bought, and only 12% would feel safe making a purchase through Facebook. Let's look at Twitter. 250 million active users. Yet, half of all tweets are sent by just 20,000 users. So I think that's 8/10,000ths of 1% of all Twitter users account for half of what's communicated. And most of those are retweets. So all those social media people that call you, that email you, that tell you you need more social media, show them some of these numbers and tell them, no, I don't. No, I don't need more social media. I wrote a column on Mashable, which is sort of the social media news website. It has 25 million unique visitors every month, and it's mostly read by social media people. And I wrote how social media harms our marketing, because I truly believe this. And it's not even a belief, it's pretty much fact, because I work with companies who actually sell products and services who try to use social media, and it does not improve their marketing. So if the news is Facebook had a difficult IPO and GM pulled their Facebook advertising, and all of these people have so many problems with buying stuff from Facebook, and the vast majority of messages on Twitter are sent by 8-10 thousandths of 1% of all Twitter users. The lesson for us in 2013 is less social media, more other marketing. Less social media, more other marketing, okay? We'll talk about what that other marketing is as we move on. Maybe go into presentation mode. Diane says, Diane, I covered this maybe 10 minutes ago. I can't because I can't see the control panel and the questions, so it has to stay this way. Lisa Allen, do you think LinkedIn is different? It is very different from Facebook and Twitter and more purposeful. Yes, it is. Yes, I agree. Different league, professional, not personal. So different league. You can try LinkedIn advertising there. My experience is the results are not great. But I absolutely agree that LinkedIn is different. Laura Boyd, although the communicators are less, wouldn't you want to be the one that communicates and gets retweeted? Okay, fair enough. So be on social media. Don't get off of social media. Don't not be there. Be there, but also be in a lot of other places. On the list of the top 10 marketing platforms, I would put social media, and specifically Facebook and Twitter. I would put them sort of in the 5, 6, 7 range on the list of the top 10. All right? So be there. I'm not saying get off of social media. Be on social media, but invest less than you do or than you think you should. And invest more in marketing techniques that actually work, some of which we're going to cover today. All right? Let me move on. Let's see. We are looking here. I want to make sure there's no more questions. Very good. News and learning item number 2 from 2012. Microsoft bought a 17% stake in Barnes & Noble's Nook. Great for Barnes & Noble, not so good for Microsoft. And then shortly before that, a few months before that, Microsoft bought Skype, bought all of Skype for $8.5 billion. Why exactly isn't the headline there. And the lesson here is to know what your greatest strengths are and focus on them to the relentless exclusion of everything else. And we're going to get to greatest strengths a little bit later when I give you my 10 techniques for improving your marketing, because focusing on your greatest strengths and getting rid of everything else is a big one. And I can give you examples of different companies that got away from focusing on their greatest strengths and hurt themselves severely as a result. Microsoft is one of them. Microsoft's greatest strength is software and operating systems. And when Microsoft buys the Barnes & Noble Nook, it gets away from focusing on its strengths. And it makes me wonder why there is no Microsoft Office for my iPad and my iPhone when there absolutely should be. I mean, that's got to be hundreds of millions in lost revenue for Microsoft, right? If Microsoft Office for the iPad would cost $40, everybody would buy it. Millions would buy it. Tens of millions would probably buy it. And I would wonder, why is that not available for me? Because Microsoft is buying the Nook, and because Microsoft is putting out its own Surface tablet, which it should not be building hardware. So focus on your greatest strength. We're going to come back to this. I have some more examples on this, but know what your greatest strength is, and then focus on it relentlessly. And there's only room for 1 or 2 greatest strengths. There isn't room for 5 or 6. There's not room for 15. There's only room for 1 or 2. So what do you do in the world? What are you best at? And how do you get better at it? Peter Drucker said, don't try to improve your weaknesses. Only improve your strengths. Because if you have weaknesses and you're trying to improve them, once you make them better, once you get them excellent, they're still going to be less good than your strengths. So spend the effort on your strengths. Okay, two more quick ones. Apple released its iPhone 5 with a Maps app that looked like this. There's the Statue of Liberty. There's a shadow, but no statue. There's a road. And it was a horrendous reception. It got killed in the reviews, and for good reason. And they came out and apologized. Tim Cook, the CEO, said, "I'm sorry." They gave a bunch of alternatives for Maps tools. Google Maps put out its own app now for free recently, I think within the month. And the lesson here is that Apple, which has customer evangelists, a great deal of customer evangelists, they're forgiving. When you have customer evangelists, they assume you have their best interest at heart. So when you have member evangelists and you make a mistake, they assume it was honest. And when you have member evangelists and you have a bad event, they're not going to leave you. They're just going to assume that the next one will be better, that this was an aberration. And so I submit to you that everything you do in your marketing should be around developing new members and then developing existing members into evangelist members, into members that will talk about you to their peers, to their colleagues, to their friends and family. Here's how wonderful this event was. Here's what I learned in that educational session or webinar. So build evangelists, because when you have a mistake like this, your evangelist will assume that it was honest. And finally, and this is a big one for you, for associations and you good folks that run them. 2012 was utterly chaotic politically. We had fiscal cliffs and debt ceilings, and that's not going to get any better. That's only going to continue. That chaos, that discomfort, that's probably only going to intensify this year, because there's other battles already on the horizon politically, right? There's the debt ceiling coming up again in like less than 60 days at this point. So your job then in the sea of chaos is to provide comfort and stability, to provide calm for people who are otherwise in a very chaotic world they're operating in. In this kind of environment, you've got to operate confidently. You've got to move quickly. You've got to think big. And you've got to make people feel like they're getting comfort and security when they come to you, when they join you. When they come to you, they're surrounded by people who are just like them. And that's huge for you as associations. You know, this doesn't really apply so much for corporations. But as associations, your greatest strength, we just talked about greatest strengths. I believe your greatest strength is in the fact that the people who participate in your work, right, your members, is this shared experiences, is the peer group that forms and the community that you get to build among people. And so that's your greatest strength, I believe. And that's what you need to leverage, because in this kind of chaotic world, that's a huge comfort. I mean, that's a huge positive experience you're offering. And most people I know would pay a lot of money for that. They would pay more than what they're paying you now. That's what I believe. Let me check on questions. Guys, questions or comments at any time, write in your question box. I will stop and read your question and answer it as we go. So please feel free to ask whatever it is that you have as we're discussing. And again, I will stop. As you listen to this, think about how it might work and how this kind of material might go over at one of your events, because I do speeches quite frequently, and this kind of thing works really, really well in front of a live audience, because the material that I cover, the information that I present works great visually. So that's there for you. Shared group experiences. This is a question from Tracy Parsons. Shared group experiences are often best handled through social media. Doesn't that suggest that we haven't tapped into the social media? Tracy, I would argue exactly the opposite. Shared group experiences do not happen on social media. Social media in the form that we're talking about it, Facebook and Twitter, is so barely personal that it's hanging on by a string. And I'm talking about shared group experiences that occur either in person at your events or digitally in the information that you communicate, or in the educational content that you send out to your members, even when they're not actually in contact with you, or the interactions that you facilitate from one member to another, because that's your job too, and we're going to talk about that soon. So I don't believe that the best shared group experiences you can implement are via social media. And I've actually had people uninvite me from their events because they found out I think this way. They were doing research on me and they found out I think that way. I cannot tell your members something that isn't the truth in my experience. In my experience, most corporations and associations are spending too much time and money and effort on social media. It's not that they shouldn't be there. It's that they're over-investing in it. It's not the magic bullet. There isn't a magic bullet, but if there was one, it wouldn't be social media. Tracy, I hope I answered your question. Follow up even for those in the 22 to 30 age group. Yes, even for those, because it's not that because of their age you should use social media. What you should do is show them value and shared experiences and improvement in their personal or professional lives. And you can use social media as one tool. But as I said, it should be one of about 9 or 10. And in effectiveness, it should be somewhere around 6 or 7 out of those 10. That's what that looks like. You're welcome, Tracy. Question box, guys, I will read them as they come in. That is the review of 2012. So we have less social media. We have focus on your greatest strengths. We have build evangelist members because they're forgiving and they assume you have their best interest. And we have provide comfort and security in an uncomfortable and chaotic world. We move on. I promised some new intellectual property. And this is that. This is the first time I am showing this anywhere. When I work with companies and associations as a consultant, I diagnose them. We do a diagnostic and an assessment. And these, in my experience, are the top variables that form evangelist marketing. So if we start from the bottom and move our way up, the yellow and green ones, these are observable. So these are marketing variables that you put out into the world. The blue ones above are the market's reaction to those elements. And then the red one at the very top is the most important one. So the variables go up the y-axis. Along the x-axis is the weight that I give them. So their importance in relation to each other, yes? So the first one is focus on value and emotion over products and events. Your marketing language should consist of the value that you provide to your members. How do you improve their lives and their work? That should be your message. Not details on your event, not details on your publication, not details on your education. The vast majority of what you put out into the world should be your value, your emotional value, the improvement that you create in your members' lives and work, okay? We will dive into this further. And again, ask questions if you wish. The next variable is simplicity. You should take what you're doing, take everything you have, and simplify it. So, and I call this simplifying to the void. You simplify it, and then you do it again, and then you simplify it again until you cannot simplify it anymore. Simplifying to the void. Next, the focus and value is weighted, this adds up to 100. So the focus and value is weighted at 13%. It's the second most important item there. Simplicity is weighted at 12%. And then we have, moving up the list, member stories and case studies. One of the most powerful things you have are the words of your members and their positive feelings and experiences with you. And there is nothing that you can say that is as effective and powerful and valuable as what your members say about you, right? What your members say is honest. What your members say is compelling. What your members say is truth. It's their experience with you. And if they love you, it's your job to communicate that to your other members and to your prospective members. As we know, member retention is as big a problem or as big an issue as member growth. So it is your responsibility to collect the stories of happy members and to communicate them like crazy. All right? Who do you communicate them to moving up the list? In part, the media, the press. The quality of your media relations is very important. And we're going to touch on this in a moment, a little bit in a few moments. But consider eliminating press releases because they're rather useless. I'm a former technology columnist at the Chicago Tribune. I was a syndicated columnist that wrote a column for 4 years. The reason I went into business to help companies market is because I was in the receiving end of the marketing of technology companies. And it was so painful to me that these multi-billion-dollar companies, Fortune 500s, Fortune 100s, startups with millions of angel money invested in them, they were killing themselves with bad marketing. They were just killing themselves. Moving up the list, the frequency of communication. You must communicate relentlessly. Your event or product name is very important. Your pricing is very important. You can price things too high or too low. Both can hurt you. You want to be within the range of expectations. And your presentation to the world. So how do you present yourself to the world? This is your website. I looked at some of your websites. Some of them are impressive. Some of them look like they're from 1988. Your presentation to the world is an important variable in how you are perceived. So these are observable variables, these yellow and green ones. These are the ones that the world sort of sees and that you have direct control over. Now, the market's reaction you have less control over, the blue ones. And the first one is member passion, the feedback and the reviews and the recommendations that you get. That is a direct reaction to everything you do down here in yellow. Oops. And the next is earned media. So what kind of coverage do you get? What kind of quotes are written, are published by your executive director and by your experts, by your researchers, by the people who talk to the media? How are they covered? And the most important item here on top, the top priority, which you do have control over, are you implementing your members' language and emotions? Are you utilizing those words of your members in your marketing? Because that is the single most powerful change you can make in your marketing today. If you want to grow your business, if the goal of 2013 is to grow your association, to add members, to retain members, you must uncover your members' language and emotion, and you must communicate them to anybody that will listen. That's your best marketing. I checked the questions. Brian asks, is your brand a variable and your brand strategy? I don't know what that means, Brian. If you can clarify that for me. Is your brand a variable and your brand strategy? So go ahead and clarify what that means and I'll come back to it. I want to make one point here. I think we missed the slide. Then we'll come back to the model. Marketing is your low-hanging fruit. You all are with associations and you've been around for some time. And you have members and people keep coming back to you. So I have to assume that the quality of what you give your members is good enough. Yes, you can improve what you do. But time spent and energy and money spent improving your marketing is going to pay far greater dividends. I'll say it a different way and then leave it, but it's very important. Investment in your marketing is going to have a far higher ROI than investment in your event or publication or education. Improve your marketing from where it is today, just a couple of notches better, and you will see significant and tremendous growth. And so marketing is the low-hanging fruit. Brian did not rephrase, so I'm going to go back to the other questions. How important is a clearly defined mission statement? It is reasonably important. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 6 or a 7. And what's more important is to create one and have one and move on with your life. Come back and change it. Come back and edit it. But get it done and move. And we're going to talk about taking action before we're done today. But create that mission statement and move forward. Okay? We spend too much time thinking and not enough time acting. And this is everybody. This is not just associations. This is companies too. These are all your members have the same issue. You said do away with press releases from Amanda Wendecker. What do we replace press releases with? I'm going to cover it in a moment, but the short answer is relationships. Relationships with the media. You replace them with relationships. I'm going to cover it in just a moment. Okay, so if this is the model, if the observable variables, the things you have direct control over, are a focus on emotion, simplicity in your marketing message, member stories, the quality of your media relations, frequency of communication, meaning to your membership and to your prospective membership, right? The communication of value, your event or product name, your pricing, and the presentation you put out into the world, the feeling that you create. And if the market's reaction is their passion and their feedback and reviews and their recommendations, and also the earned media that you get, and if the summation of all of this is implementing that feedback, that language and emotion into your marketing, and that's the most important thing you can do, how do you do it? What is the fastest and easiest and most effective way to do it? It's the blue circle, member insights. Two things actually affect all of those variables, and that is your internal mindset at the organization, at the association. Your internal mindset affects each of those variables, right? So if you're thinking big and you're thinking positively, you're going to create better marketing. But what influences your mindset? And what influences every one of those variables? Member insights. If you're going to come away with one thing, this is it. Gather member insights, because they affect everything. Let's look at it this way. This is all the new IP that I promised you. Qualitative membership insights here allow you to uncover the impact, value, results, thinking, emotion, language, and ROI that your members experience. That is your most powerful marketing on the planet. I'll repeat what I said earlier. There is nothing that you can say that is as powerful as what your customers say about you. I get paid a lot of money for this. I run a 7-figure consulting practice by myself. And there is nothing that I can come up with you in a conference room that is as strong and honest and true and relevant and compelling as what I can uncover from your customers and hand to you on a silver platter, from your members, right? The people experiencing your value. So once we get those insights, we get leadership development of you and your peers. So what happens is, and this is ironic, that most members think more positively about you than you think about yourself. And this happens at companies all the time. There's a gap in perception. And when you're not thinking big, when your mindset isn't in the right place, it is physically impossible to develop good marketing. Because if you think you're stuck in the muck of details, right? Every day you come in and you work on details. You work on issues. You work on a project. You work on an event, and you're stuck in the issues. How many chairs are in the room? What kind of projectors in the room? Who am I interviewing this week? Details. Well, you lose sight of the big picture. And the way to gain sight of the big picture is to have these member insights, is to uncover them. And that pulls you out of the muck. Member insights also help you develop powerful marketing and sales. So you implement that impact and results and language and emotion that you uncover into your marketing. And of course, once we improve mindset and marketing, there is no choice but for revenue to grow, because you have now refined thinking and language, and you have new approaches that lead to faster growth. And it all starts with member insights. I checked the questions. You may cover this later, but one of your points was frequency of communication. Can you communicate too much? Good question. How do you determine what amount that is? And you ask about email marketing specifically. This is a question from Lisa Allen. Lisa, you can communicate too much by email, and the most frequent comfortable rate is about once a week. There are retailers. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal last year that said that last holiday season, Neiman Marcus sent over 450 emails to its customer list. That's too many. Even for a retailer, that's too much. But once a week is not, and once a week is a good number for you. And don't have multiple lists where people are getting, one area of interest on Tuesdays and another area of interest on Thursdays, and they're hearing from you 17 times a week. Don't do that. One item of high quality communication, that's enough every week. You can go less, you can go every 2 weeks, you can go every 3 weeks. Any regular communication is better than not regularly communicating. I hope I've answered your question. Ann Henley asks a similar question. How often should communications be with members? How often is too much? I think we just covered it. Once a week is good. Now, that's just email. Don't forget you have other methods, right? Don't forget about the old school mail. Don't forget about the old school telephone. That's a pretty good method. Don't forget about electronic education, like what we're doing right now, like a good webinar, like a good how-to. Don't forget about the good article. Don't forget about the good podcast. Because if you're providing value, like I do to my lists, by the way, if you're providing value, it's not seen as a disturbance. It's actually seen as helpful. So that's a mindset thing that we were just talking about here on the screen, the green circle. Think of yourselves when you communicate with your customers, not as disrupting their day or disturbing their day, but as providing value, as building community, as allowing an island of order in the middle of their chaotic day and life and world. And you're something that's dependable, that's comforting, and you're offering it. It would be negligent of you not to offer it to your membership and to your prospective membership. It would be negligent of you not to let prospective members know that you exist and the huge value that you offer. And you communicate that value and that help by letting your customers do the talking for you, by letting your members communicate the huge value that they see in you. All right, I'm going to talk about how to do that in a second. So this is the model. This is the Evangelist Marketing Index. This is how it's affected with member insights. This is the effect that the member insights have on your leadership mindset and on your marketing itself. Any other questions before we move into these 10 simple techniques to dramatically improve your marketing, grow your membership, and increase revenue? And what's better than that? What else could you be doing that would be better than this right now? Any other questions? If you'd like to ask a question, on your control panel, there is a question box that you can type into. If you type into it there, I will absolutely stop what I'm doing and respond to the extent that there is time. There's 20 minutes to go, and I promise to have you off at the top of the hour. I hit my marks. Diane Steinbach asks, can you send a value item like a tip, but then piggyback with a plug for what's next? Absolutely. And you should do that because, again, what's next is additional value, is even more value than this tip that you just sent. Most definitely you should do that. All right, let's roll. 10 simple techniques. Number 1, the best marketing comes from your members. Understand what they think and feel about you. Let's talk about specifically what this looks like. This is not an internet survey, God forbid. This is not a focus group. This is a one-on-one telephone qualitative conversation that lasts 20 to 30 minutes. It should be done by you. It shouldn't be outsourced. It shouldn't be handed down to a lower level marketing specialist, intern, 22-year-old. It should be done by the leadership of the organization for a couple of reasons. Number 1, you can ask better questions. Number 2, it will affect your mindset. What you hear will improve your leadership, and it will improve your marketing, and it will shine a light on what your members really think about you. 20 to 30 minutes per call. How many should you do? 30 to 50 is a good number. Why 30 to 50? Because it starts to repeat by then. 30 to 50, you still get new stuff with every call, most calls. You aggregate the information. There is a script in my book, which, by the way, if you answer the survey and let me know you want a book, there was a question there. I will send you either a digital copy, or for the first 5 respondents, I will send a hard copy. In my book, there is a 30-question script of what to ask customers. And the beauty of these phone calls is you can follow up, you can dig, you can go deeper. So how did you feel about our last event that you attended? Oh, that's interesting. You said it was exciting. What was exciting about it? We don't usually hear exciting. And then they'll say, well, we really love this person's event. Well, what was it about that got you so excited? What feelings do you have about our association? How does our association improve your life? And then you dig. Why do you say that? Most of the questions are follow-ups. You said this and that. I'd love to know why. And so the best marketing comes from your members. 20 to 30 minutes, 30 to 50 members, go. You have the time. You do have the time. 20 to 30 minutes, one a day, easy. Check the questions. Can companies such as ListTrack and HubSpot be very helpful in your inbound marketing effort? Do you suggest one in particular? I don't think so. I think a far more powerful platform than those is a good list that you already have and to communicate directly with them. I think you should gather lists of prospective members as aggressively as you gather lists of members and communicate directly with them. Doesn't the number of calls depend on the size of the association? Cindy Miglino asks, doesn't the number of calls depend on the size of the association? Not really, because the number of calls for, say, a Microsoft or an Amazon, which I've done, is the same as the number of calls for a startup. You get the same experience. Things start to repeat after 30 to 50. You want a cross-section of your membership, though. You do want that. You don't want the same type of person. You want a number of people that represent your entire membership. Amy Matthews, how often do you recommend making these calls? Once a year is a good span in between the calls. Once a year is good. You can go every 6 months if you wish. You can certainly go after an event. All right, let me move forward. I've got 10 to get through. Number 2, communicate the stories of your happy members everywhere. Give me peers. Let me see people who are like me talking about how wonderful you are. That's your best marketing. I've touched on it already. And you get these stories when you talk to these customers, when you talk to these members. Sorry, I say customers automatically. You uncover the stories when you talk to the members. It could be video. It could be audio. It could be a short case study. Give me multiple formats, but give me peers. Let me hear people like me saying you're wonderful instead of you saying you're wonderful. It's really easy to do, guys. Number 3, think big. We've already discussed. Mindset shapes marketing. Marketing shapes success. So you must think big. This means executing. This means thinking colorfully and creatively. This means getting out of the muck. Get yourself out of the detail. Give yourself a place or a time to get out of the detail at least once a week. And give yourself an hour when the phone is off and the email is off and you are able to think and dream. Think big. You cannot market effectively if you do not think big. They are directly connected. Number 4, simplify everything. Simplify your message, how you communicate it, where you communicate it, and then simplify it again and again. Not all at once, but over time. And I think you should start today. Number 5, the 80-20 rule. The first 80% of your message should focus on your value to your members. How do you improve their lives? How do you improve their work? The last 20% of your message should cover the how. Tell me how you do it. Your process, your events, your education, your editorial material, your content, and so forth. Tell me the what before the how, because most people really care about the value and not so much the how. Brian O'Donnell asks, do you suggest a particular lead generation technique, lead nurturing? The best way I know, the best thing I know is to create lists of prospective members, which are easy to gather at this point. You don't have to buy the list. You create the list. You have them made for you. And then you start to communicate your value to them. It is precisely how you found me, using precisely that method. And it's how you got here. So that's the best way that I know how. Can you give an example of this, asks Cheryl Goldsby. Can you tell me what the this is, Cheryl? And I'll come back to it. Number 6, communicate relentlessly. If you have gained a share of awareness among your membership and prospective members, and you've done so by communicating, if you stop communicating, you will lose that share of attention almost instantly. It's like water taking the shape of its container. If you remove the water, it will be filled immediately by other water. So your message and your communication will immediately be filled by other communication. This concept comes from doing the things that made you successful, doing them relentlessly. You have to continue doing what got you success just to maintain success. And the world is filled with examples of companies that got successful and stopped doing what got them there. I give you Research in Motion with the BlackBerry. I give you Palm. I give you TiVo. Companies that were at the top of the mountain in their category fell right off when they stopped communicating with the market. They had other problems, but one of the biggest was that they stopped communicating. Cheryl, thanks for clarifying what an 80-20 ad might look like. Quickly, you have a customer, or excuse me, you have a member, if we're talking about an ad specifically, talking about the different ways that membership in your organization has improved their life or their business. And it's 30 seconds of them talking about how you've improved their life or their work. And then the last 10 seconds is your event or your publication or your webinar. That's an example of 80-20. Didn't really think it works out to 75-25 or something like that. But that's an example. Cheryl, I hope I answered your question. Okay. Number 7, public relations. Replace your pitching of the media with relationships with the media. Have every executive in your organization select 5 key media members and go about the process of building a relationship. You build a relationship by helping the media members, helping them. So if you have 5, you communicate with one once a day, 5 minutes per day, you have the time. You build a relationship by understanding what that media member covers and then tying a news story, a very current news story, to your association's expertise or to your own personal expertise, and you comment on it for them. You help them by taking an educated guess on what they might be working on that's relevant to their audience and then commenting on it. You help the media. If you do this, they will bend over backwards to help you. They will bend over backwards to help you. I know this as a former Chicago Tribune syndicated columnist. If somebody that had a relationship with me had a bad pitch, I would help them make it better so that I could take it to my editor so that I could cover it. So build relationships with the media. And if you do this, you won't need a press release. Press releases that are blasted anonymously to thousands of journalists at once, tired journalists, exhausted, stressed out by 22-year-old media relations people who can't answer a question, who don't follow up. That's not what you want to put your association's health dependent upon. Executive relationships with key media members. You can't beat it. Number 8, take action, stop thinking, execute. I have a business mentor called Alan Weiss. Some of you might know him. He says, move when you're 80% ready because the last 20% is dysfunctional. Only you know when that 20% is missing. We had a question earlier about mission statements. And the question was, are they important? And I said, yeah, they're reasonably important. But what's more important is that you execute upon them, is that you take action. And you can revise the mission statement once a week. I don't care. But take action. Move. Companies have just as much trouble getting paralyzed by analysis as associations do. So activity is key. Number 9, and again, key to you guys, emphasize the community aspect of what you're doing. Emphasize the peers. So we understand your success and your pain. We understand your wins and your challenges. We'll help you create some order and calm amidst chaos, right? It's like coming home. It's like coming home to family because we know what you're going through. We're a group filled with people that are just like you. Emphasize that. You say it, and then you have really happy members communicating it. Number 10, really powerful, guys. 15 minutes per day. So my question to you is, which of these techniques will you begin implementing for 15 minutes today? You can do a lot in 15 minutes. You can change yourself. You can change your marketing. You can change your association in 15 minutes per day. Why 15 minutes? It's easy. It's fast. It's not threatening. It's hard to avoid 15 minutes, right? It's hard to procrastinate on that. It's an ideal amount of time, actually. It's a magical amount of time for building new habits and behaviors. And eventually, 15 minutes might become half an hour if you like what you're doing, or an hour. Or you might get so good at something that you might just take 5 minutes on it. But you start with 15. It's enough to get a bit of depth. You exclude everything else, and yet it's totally not threatening. So what can you do in 15 minutes? You can call one member and ask them about their experiences. How do you feel about us? How do you talk about us? Right? How do you describe us to your colleagues and to your peers? You can gather that member's emotions or feelings or a story of theirs. You can call a media member to build a relationship. You can simplify one page of your website. You can write with a pen and paper, because when you write with a pen and paper, you have to slow down your thinking so that your hand can keep up. And it's really nice in an age of email and electronic typing everything. It's really nice to write with pen and paper. And you can have one idea in 15 minutes. You sure can. It doesn't have to be a great idea. It doesn't have to change the world. But you can for sure have one idea in 15 minutes. And you can have multiple 15 minutes, by the way. You can have a couple in the morning. You can have one before bed. You can have one with your lunch or with your coffee, whatever. But even one of these is better than none. So action, activity. I have 5 minutes to go, about 5.5. I'm going to get you off precisely at the top of the hour. I'm going to check for questions. There are none. If you have one last minute, feel free to list them here. I want to tell you just another moment about my work. And I bring this back here one more time. This is my website, and this is the homepage. And if you click on speaking, if you found this webinar of value, I can do something very similar to your live audience, for your live audience. And on my site here, you can get an overview of my talks and sort of how I do these things. I don't use PowerPoint. I don't work from a PowerPoint. I'll have visuals, but I don't use PowerPoint. You can see my speech topics here, and there's 5 of them listed, and each one has a video. All right? And you can see a sample speech video here that I did for a live audience. You can see how that looks. So when you leave this webinar, you will have a 4-question feedback survey pop up. One of the questions is, would you like my book? The first 5 that I get back will get a hard copy of the hardcover book. Everybody else gets a digital PDF copy. You can watch it on you can read it on your iPad. You can read it on your computer, wherever you wish. And then one of the questions will be, would you like to talk about having me in as a speaker at your event? I would be happy to discuss that with you. Just click yes there, and we will roll. We have 4 minutes to go. I checked the questions one more time, and all of a sudden there's a lot of new ones. I'll just go through them here. When initiating a member survey, who within the organization in terms of title should you speak with? The president, CEO, or someone that you have more day-to-day contact with, or both? If you have day-to-day contact with somebody, you ask them. You ask them who you should speak with. They will tell you. Cheryl Goldsby, so are testimonials the best form of advertising for associations? They are among the best forms. Testimonials, member story, a video of a member talking about how you improve their lives, you utilizing the language of your members in your marketing. That's a great way to tell your story. So your very best story in your marketing comes from your members. Whether they say it or you say it, it is your job to facilitate that communication from members to members and from members to prospective members. It's your job in the world. Marlene Hendrickson says, great presentation. You covered the topics well. Who do you like in the Redskins versus the Seahawks game this weekend? That is such a tough game because you have 2 of the top hottest rookie quarterbacks going against each other. If you force me to make a pick, I'm going to say the Redskins. And Brian Meinke says, how does a 100-plus-year-old association with brand identity for one of its greatest strengths begin looking at a new branding strategy to reach new stakeholders and not preach to the choir? Brian, your answer is give me a call. I would be happy to help you with it. I do that kind of thing all the time. But you begin that process. I'll give you the first step right now. You begin that process by getting on the phone and talking with your existing happy members and seeing if it's something that would resonate with them. And if they're new stakeholders, you call your happy members and you ask to be connected to the new stakeholders, to the new prospective members. You ask to be connected and you have those conversations that way. Cindy, Redskins for sure. Tracy Parsons, your answer will probably be, it depends, but you give me a feeling, can you give me a feeling of how long it would take to convert cynical members to evangelist members, 12 months longer or less? If your marketing is good, you can go from cynical to happy. That's an in-between step. You can't go from cynical to evangelist. You have to go cynical to satisfied / happy to evangelist. So you've got to go from cynical to happy by killing them with value, killing them with help, killing them with content, killing them with stuff that'll just help them do better at what they're doing. And your first step is to uncover it. Call the cynical ones and ask them for help, right? We're trying to do better. How would you feel about this? What's your impression? What do you need from us? How can we help you? So take them from cynical to happy first and then worry about evangelist. Ellie says Redskins. Brian says for free. And Ellie says, thank you. This was very informative and I will be in touch with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a wonderful, successful, and very big 2013. I'm here if you need me. There are 30 seconds to the top of the hour. I thank you for joining me and have a wonderful and successful year. Thank you very, very much.